we care about Chris Denari, and he's here with us, man.
How you guys doing?
I tried to take the lead in the Tour de France today, Chris.
You got the yellow shirt on. Yeah, I see that. I am on the road. I am at Fox 59 and CBS 4. 10:45. I'm going to be on the morning show here to get Pacers fans ready for the home opener. So I thought, I just fired up my iPad, and I'm like you, Jim. I'm able to do this remote like Dustin. So happy to talk Pacers. Tough one last night. Had a 23-point lead. Had a lead late, and they make free throws down the stretch. P.J. Washington to win it 123-122 was a heck of an entertaining game. I mean, Dustin, it was a fantastic game to call and watch. And bright spots. Domantas Sabonis had 33. Brogdon was terrific, but the real story is Chris Duarte, the rookie out of Oregon, scores 27. Hit some huge threes down the stretch. So, the good news about the NBA, it's one of 82. You just hate to lose a game in that fashion after you had dominated basically for the first 26, 27 minutes.
When you have those type of games, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dustin.
No, I was just going to say, this is why when you go through the NBA draft, I think a lot of people overreact. You never know what you're going to get. There were a lot of Pacers fans on Twitter that were
like a box of chocolates.
Exactly. They were unhappy with the Chris Duarte pick, and knowing what he did at Oregon, knowing how well he shot the ball, I thought he could mesh well with this team. And I thought the two things kind of stood out to me. Number one was he gets the start. Obviously, that some guys being injured and out, and a limited lineup plays a role in that. But then I think either you or Quinn said this at the end of the game, to have him on the floor on that final possession and potentially be an option to hit a game-winning shot, I think that says a lot about the confidence that Rick Carlisle and his teammates have in him. And then at the end of the game, Malcolm Brogdon saying he's going to be Rookie of the Year because he's going to be outstanding for us. I mean, I think in such a short period of time, he's already gained a lot of trust from his teammates and the coaching staff.
I think that's the biggest point, Dustin, that you said, that he has gained a lot of trust. And he's a guy that asks a lot of questions. He talks to his teammates. He doesn't defer. They don't want him to defer. And we saw that, especially in the fourth quarter with the threes that he hit down the stretch. I think the thing that will help the Pacers moving forward is getting healthy and getting a little deeper and having a Karis LeVert back. And you could see that Rick Carlisle last night in game one, he didn't go very deep. He only used 3 bench players. They struggled at times offensively. It was surprising after they had dominated the first 26, 27 minutes and they had that 23-point lead that all of a sudden Charlotte goes on a 24-0 run and the Pacers simply didn't have any answers. As much as they gave up 24 points, it was their inability to score, and I thought to really get some good looks in that stretch. But, there were a lot of good things. Unfortunately, it comes in a loss, and now you have Washington tomorrow night before you have 2 home games on Saturday and Monday.
And the thing that stood out to me in that post-game presser from Rick Carlisle, too, was – and the thing that was refreshing to me is there was no excuse. He basically said, we played terrible the third quarter. That can't happen. The final possession, when we don't get a good shot or we don't make the shot, that's on me. That's on the coaching staff. I got to be better. I think a lot of times coaches it would be easy to say, we're still kind of learning. We're still kind of gelling. But right out of the gate, Rick Carlisle saying, we can't have this. We got to be better. We got to close the deal. I have to be better in those situations. And to me, he wants to win now. He thinks this team is good enough to win now. There was no talk about rebuilding or gelling or anything like that. So even though it was a disappointing loss, I'm really optimistic about the attitude that this team and that Rick Carlisle has right now.
Yeah, and I think that's something that a championship coach or a coach of his ilk, his pedigree, he will acknowledge when things are good, but he will also acknowledge when things aren't so good. And as you said, he put blame on himself. He felt he could have done a better job to maybe get a better shot on that final possession. They opted to go to Sabonis. I thought it was well covered by Charlotte. Domas is a very willing passer, but again, you only have about 4 seconds. So that's something they'll learn from. They work on those simulations in practice every day. They had one of those opportunities in the preseason, and this will go a long way, I think, to helping them again, it's a long, long season. It's always just tough to lose a game like that. But like I said, there were plenty of bright spots last night. And again, to see a young man like Chris Duarte just play without fear in his first NBA game, I thought was a huge bright spot.
And I wanted to talk too about Domantas Sabonis and how he played so well that first half. I mean, I thought he was going to score 50 in that game. What was Charlotte doing in the second half that I mean, they didn't completely shut him down, but when you look at how well he played in the first half, was it just a fatigue thing, having to play so many minutes with only an 8-man rotation, or was it something that Charlotte was doing that you picked up on in that game to kind of slow him down a little bit?
Well, I thought one of the things that they did, Dustin, was they applied more pressure out front. So I thought it was a lot harder for the perimeter players to get the ball into Domas. Remember, Indiana now with Rick Carlisle really likes to run a 5-out offense. And so they want to move the ball and they want player movement. And Sabonis was getting a lot of his baskets on slipping screens, right? He was out on the perimeter and slipping into the paint, and they were finding him that way. I thought Charlotte did a much better job defensively. I mean, that was one of the issues for the Pacers. 17 turnovers leading to 22 points. That was a huge problem. So the pressure they put out on the perimeter, I thought really affected them inside.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to if you're going to have one of those games, the first game is the one you want because it's a great learning tool and it's early. And they showed that the talent is there. Like Dustin talked about wanting to win now. Well, obviously, I think they can because it's there. You just got to get it put together. And a one game, it's going to take probably a few games to get gelled together. But they look good in sync, I guess, was the biggest thing. They seem like there's no, and I'm not trying to say that there was, but no division in this locker room right now. No distractions, I guess. Everybody seems to be playing well with each other.
Yeah, and I think what you'll find, Jim and Dustin, is that he will settle into some type of rotation, though I think it could vary on a nightly basis. I mean, you only saw 8. You only saw 3 off the bench last night. You did not see Goga Batadze. You did not see Isaiah Jackson. You did not see O'Shea Brissett. Now, you're going to get into a part of the schedule where you're going to have to limit some guys' minutes because now the Pacers have a game tomorrow night in Washington. They have the home opener, a gold out on Saturday night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and then they play on Monday against Milwaukee. I think I was tallying up. It's 8 games in the next 13 nights. So that's a lot of basketball. That's a lot of wear and tear. But I think the message that he was trying to send on night one is we want to win this basketball game, and we're going to do whatever we can to do it. And for the better part of 27, 28 minutes early on, they were in that position with a huge lead. And even late, after they fell behind by 10, they were able to take the lead on a Duarte 3 at 116-113. And then I think Hayward banked one in from a 3-point range. So, it was an exciting game. It was a fun game to call. Didn't like the outcome, but, you move on to the next one and hopefully you're better.
One of the things that I was looking at too from that game last night is the energy in Charlotte with the fans back in the arena. It just kind of permeated, and that's probably why I got, I was standing up in my apartment with my hands on my knees, after every shot in that fourth quarter because it was just so exciting. But I wanted to ask, do you think that when Charlotte made a few baskets, was starting to make a little bit of a run, and the Pacers, obviously we had fans towards the end of last season, but do you think that played a role that Charlotte was able to feed off that energy, that fan base, and maybe things started to get away a little bit from the Pacers? And then once they get a shot, after they get a shot after that 24-0 run, they're able to settle down a little bit. But did you think that the crowd played a factor in that game, just kind of from a readjustment standpoint for the Pacers?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, I thought the Charlotte crowd really help bring them along. And that was one of the issues last year. Road teams won at a higher level than they had won in the past. The Pacers had the best road record in the Eastern Conference, and we remember how poor the home record was because you only had limited fans. So I think that's the one thing that we saw in the playoffs last year, the Milwaukees, the Phoenixes, Madison Square Garden, and the Knicks, Atlanta. I mean, those crowds really helped those teams. And I think that's what happened last night in Charlotte. And I feel that will be a big thing that will play out at Gainbridge Fieldhouse this year. And it all starts Saturday night. We've got another road game tomorrow night in the nation's capital at Washington. And then the Pacers play Miami, looking to have a sold out crowd, a gold out. Tickets are as low as $9. So it's a great opportunity for fans to come out and see, this field house of the future. It's year two or phase
Absolutely
two of year three. It's a fantastic building. And I think once you get in there, you will even appreciate, how good this building has always been. It's even better now.